go.
Alright, this is number 5 on the study guide, and the problem is y equals negative cotangent 4x plus pi. In this case, for cotangent, there would be no amplitude. The period equation is pi over b, so it would be pi over 4 would be your period. Your phase shift, you would set the parentheses equal to 0, so you'd have 4x plus pi equals 0, and that would end up being pi over 4 to the left. And your vertical translation in this case would be none as well. To find your first point, you set your parentheses equal to 0, and you would end up getting negative pi over 4. To find your last point, you would set the same parentheses equal to pi, and you would x would end up being 0 because cotangent can only end up existing between 0 and pi. And then to find your middle point, you would add these two and divide by 2, and to find this one, you'd add these two and divide by 2, and to find this one, you'd add negative pi over 4, negative pi over 8, and divide by 2. And then right here, you'd multiply by negative 1 because that is what is before cotangent. It's understood, and then you'd multiply by the pattern, and you'd get negative 1, 0, and 1. And so then you'd graph, and at negative pi over 4, it is an asymptote. At negative 3 pi over 16, you're at negative 1. At negative pi over 8, you're at 0. And at negative pi over 16, you're at 1. And then here's another asymptote. And then you would graph. Side notes for cotangent, there is no amplitude. The period equation is pi over b. The asymptotes are at the first and last x values, and the pattern is 1, 0, and negative 1. And to find the first point, you set your parentheses equal to 0, and to find your last point, you set your parentheses equal to pi, because cotangent can only exist between 0 and pi.